Yes, hello guys, and welcome to the Norwich preview. As you can see, I'm joined by Shreyas, Sam, and Dan. How are we doing today, guys?
Pretty well, pretty
Yeah,
well.
doing great.
All good.
Yeah, good. Full
Hope to
full
be well
house
for the
happy. Yeah?
weekend also. Yeah, hope to be
Yeah,
well for
man.
the weekend also.
Good stuff, good stuff. So we're going to get into the preview a little bit later because obviously that's what we're here for. But let's talk Tchouaméni, lads, because there's a lot of noise surrounding him today. A few journalists saying Ten Hag's a massive fan of him and he's a potential target for us in the summer. Do you lot think this is a realistic target? Shreyas, I'll go to you first on this one.
I mean, I do think that it's a pretty realistic target because if you see how United have been coming out with potential targets, speaking that it doesn't really matter what manager comes in, but we are definitely going to sign this player, like they mentioned Harry Kane a bit earlier. So I'm thinking that if they can pull off a deal like Harry Kane, which is going to be worth like around 130 to 150 million easily, why not invest just a chunk like 30 to 40 million for Tchouaméni, who has proven himself in at Monaco, is one of those players that Ten Hag really likes and would like to build a team around him, make a system which complements the team as well. And when Ten Hag goes out for a player, he basically just sees the entire game style of that player and how he would fit into his system. So I think for a 30 to 40 million, he'd be a steal because at the moment, the kind of players we have at the club, they can't offer what Tchouaméni offers. They can't break through pressure lines. Tchouaméni can break through pressure lines really, really well. His passing and distribution and his link through with the attack, because he is one of those players who doesn't really need to drive the ball forward. He's able to link up with the attack from just the one position that he's playing in, and that's one of the biggest factors that he brings to the table to a particular team, and why Monaco have been actually been so good in their midfield battles as well. His physical presence off and on the ball is actually really, really good as well. Except United, I think a lot of other clubs are keeping an eye on him as well, especially Real Madrid. So I think if it's obviously going to cost us just around 30 to 40 million, and I think if we are able to act on it, like I think, like I just mentioned about Darwin Núñez earlier as well, that we just need to wait in for like 3 to 4 weeks, because the longer it drags out, we know we are going to lose out on these players because the kind of clubs, like a Real Madrid, the kind of things that they can offer, United can't offer at the minute. So we need to motivate these players and convince them to believe in the project that Ten Hag is going to be coming in with. And if we are able to do that, and there's a change in how we go about transfers, I think we could pull this off. But it is realist. It is a little unrealistic because of how United actually works with transfers. But for a 30 to 40 million, I think it's a no-brainer to sign him, because we've got two players basically in that midfield position, which United is currently linked with. One is Tchouaméni and the other is Declan Rice. One is going to cost us about 150 million. One is just going to cost us about 40 million. And one of them is actually being liked by the manager who's going to be coming in. So why not go for the 40 million guy?
If you could hear that, then sorry, it's just a motorbike going past. Yeah, but I absolutely agree with you on that, Shreyas. If you look at what happened with Camavinga when we were linked with him, and then he ended up going to Real Madrid, and look at him in the Champions League now when he came on against Chelsea the other day, looks like a really good player. And for like 20 million or whatever it was, I thought that was an absolute bargain. Dan, with Paul Pogba leaving in the summer, that's obviously going to free up a lot of space on the wage book. It's on about 300k a week, is there? Something like that. So that will have significance in terms of if we want to sign Tchouaméni, his wages are already covered there, and then maybe a little bit of his transfer fee. Is Tchouaméni a player you would like to bring in the summer?
Yeah, I will always want Tchouaméni to join us because he is a type of player who can replace Matic perfectly, and he is almost like an upgraded version of Matic, and he is tall. And I think recently we are also looking for all those midfielders who are of same stature. Because of this, a couple of players were rejected, if I'm not wrong, the one with the less height. And but height was a concern for our transfer department to when they are trying to get a CDM there. But he's 6'2" and he's a bit tougher guy and the style of play and the tenacity, all he has in him that we requires at the moment. But now I think even alongside with Real Madrid, Liverpool also are in this race, and it's like a 3-horse race. And you know that whenever another team is involved in any transfer that we are going for a player, then you know that who wins the race. But at this moment, he would be a best transfer. But with all these 3 teams involved in the transfer, I think his price also will go high. He may cost around 60 million, but at the same time, as you mentioned about Pogba, Pogba has his wages can, if I frankly say, his wages can cover all the new signings wages. If you are getting 3 or 4 signings, it will cover them all. So yeah, Tchouaméni is a very good signing, and alongside Tchouaméni, I think if we get Garner also back, so Garner and Tchouaméni can really solve our stadium problem for maybe a decade in the coming days. So that would be an ideal option for us. But now the point is that from the side of Tchouaméni, if you see that if he has 3 offers in his plate, so I think we'll be on the last of his options because of the Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. Sam, you're an agent now for Manchester United. How are you going to sell coming to United with Tchouaméni? What are you going to like? What can you say? We're probably going to be out of the Champions League. We're getting knocked out the cups early. You know, there's a lot of unrest at the team. It's unsettled. You've got a new manager come in who's going to take time to settle in. Like, is there any good points at all apart from you can say we're Man United?
Yeah, the sort of shine of Man United has gone, hasn't it? Really, like no major trophies for God knows how long, like, unless you count the Europa League, which I don't. But
Conference League, Sam, might be the Conference League.
Can't wait for that shit. Yeah, like we can't do the thing of that what we have been doing where we're offering them massive wages because it just destabilizes the club, causes issues with the clicks and different players. Like we saw what happened with Alexis Sanchez. Didn't go well, did it? Let's not do the same thing again where we go, oh yeah, pick us because we'll pay you the most money, because that's not the type of player we want. We want a player who wants to come play for us.
Yeah.
In terms of selling it, just be like, we've got a brand new manager. He's got a great philosophy. He's got a track record of developing players and pushing players on, as you can see in Ajax, like what's happened there. He's going to have full reign. He's going to have unlimited budget. He's going to play you in your position that you want to play in. You're going to get first team opportunities because our midfield is shit and quite a lot of them are leaving. Yeah. Matic has come out recently. He wants to leave. Pogba's definitely gone. Fred McTominay, not good enough. So... And Donny's status at the club is still a bit iffy. So it's like, you're going to be our top guy, arguably. So we can build a midfield around you. You've got, I don't know if he's a Ronaldo fan, get to play with Ronaldo. You've got exciting players like Jadon Sancho, Anthony Elanga, all that sort of stuff. So it's just like, sell the way the team's going to play and how the philosophy and all that sort of stuff. That's the way I think you're going to have to go about it rather than this is Man United, so of course you want to come in.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that bugs me, Sam, is like we're talking about Darwin Núñez as well. If a team that's in the Champions League and the Prem comes in for him, you can say you're selling Champions League to him, and that's a massive pull. You've got other teams around Europe, if they're in the Champions League or whatever, they're winning like the domestic leagues. It's a tough sell. But I think Ten Hag, with it being Ten Hag who wants him, that'd be a big pull for us as well, because he's known as, you know, this sort of tactical doctor, if you will, around Europe. And like you said, rightfully so, he transforms young players into absolute stars. So that is definitely a selling point. I agree with you on that. I just want to touch on some quotes from the presser. Rangnick got asked if motivation was an issue, and he replied, "It shouldn't be a problem at a club like United. The players at United should always have a level of internal motivation." But that hasn't been the case at all, has it? Like, it shouldn't be, but it is. Yeah, exactly. And we were discussing this in the group chat, weren't we? We were saying it's definitely desire. There's no desire there. You seen that, Shreyas, didn't you? When you looked at the Everton stats and they ran 10k kilometers more than us, didn't they, in the game? That for me just shows there's no desire there. And one goal, I can't remember who it was against. It's been bugging me for ages, but it was a goal where Rashford didn't track back, and I called it out on the thing straight after it. I can't remember what game it was, but just that incident alone, isolated, for me, that just shows that's one player who's not fully committed to the cause. Because if that's Mo Salah, or if that's Mane, or if that's, Bernardo Silva, anyone like that, Pep and Klopp would go absolutely mental at them. And even no matter what talent level you are, work rate should always be like a given anyway. Going into
was that the same game where the keeper spilled the ball and he didn't bother to even run towards it?
Yeah.
I just remember going, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
You might not get there, but at least make an attempt to try and get there.
Yeah. So Shreyas is saying Rangnick's saying it shouldn't be a problem, but it definitely is, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is, and you can see that on the faces of the players, because we as fans, when you look at that scoreboard and you see that United are trailing, and we just look at our badge, we just feel something in ourselves that these guys have got to do something, and we feel it in our hearts as well, that this badge in itself is just so powerful, and the players take that for granted. Because I mean, I really don't see that desire or passion in anyone at the moment at our club, because I mean, when you're a football player, one of the biggest factors is that when you see your club's crest on a screen, there should be something, at least an adrenaline rush or something, which kind of drives you forward, and that's been absolutely absent in almost all our players. Whenever we go a goal down or a couple of goals down, we just kind of surrender, and we just kind of like to just drag the game out, play sideways football, and wait for this 90 minutes to get over. And of course, motivation is a big issue, because you can't just have one or two players on that pitch who are yelling to move forward or trying to make that energy go around all through the 11 players, because that's not possible. You need, except for the captain, you need 3 to 4 leaders in that team as well, who are able to dictate the play as well as the mentality on the other players, because we've got a fair share of youngsters in that club as well. Like Ilanga is quite young. So these kind of players, they need a good ecosystem where they can develop and then actually show what they're truly capable of. Right now, I would say Ilanga is working in quite a mess, and the way he's performing is actually really incredible. So just imagine that if we had an ecosystem like City has, where you've seen how Foden has been performing for them over the years. Just imagine like a player like Ilanga comes in to that kind of an ecosystem with the likes of Ronaldo to learn off from, or even a Cavani. I know that how things have gone down with him, but the kind of aura that these two guys carry around, youngsters can actually learn a fair bit from them. So if we are able to provide that ecosystem and the players are able to feel connected with our badge, I don't really feel that motivation. I think all of as fans, we didn't really expect that motivation would anywhere be an issue for a club that has the magnitude like ours. But sadly, that is the case, and I just see and I just imagine at times that if players were just committed enough, I know that we are not good enough at the moment, but if those players were ready to put in 110% on that pitch, we would be doing far better than we are right now.
Yeah, it's like anything in life. If you use the put, I don't know, a chicken in a cage with 5 other chickens that are like the bad chickens, and they're all pecking each other and stuff like that. They're not going to grow up to be nice chickens, are they? You know what I mean? If you've got them in a nice free range field and they're all happy and they're going to grow right. And at the minute, that's how the comparison I'd use. Like Man City, at the minute, they're the free range farm where every player that comes into it just looks like, you know what I mean, they can blossom. Whereas with the young players now, they're looking at situations going on between, you've got like little spouts between Maguire, Ronaldo, and they're like, what's going on there? And they're setting the example for the young players coming up. So Dan, does that worry you with the young players using that as an example?
Yeah, so definitely when you have so many young players around you who have great potential, you've seen how Elanga is growing, but at the same time, you can see that Elanga needs some bit of experience in the game, and those experience can be gained with the help of the senior players. So now when you see that at this moment, I can see only one player that stand out for me who has that character, and that is Ronaldo at this moment. But we need a couple of more players like this, or maybe players like Maguire and other players to stand up and show that experience outside, because I cannot see that experience coming out from them whenever they are on the pitch. Because when you see Maguire, nobody can say that he's a captain of the team. So Maybe you can even say that Bruno Fernandes is a captain or Ronaldo is a captain, but when you see players like Maguire, you can never say that he is a captain of the team. But we need those experience to come out, and then only those experience can be transferred to the young players. And with the next lot of youth players we have, those players are having a great potential in them. But at the same time, you need mentors in your team just to train them and to just make them learn ability wise and skill wise. They already have them, but you need something of the mentality level to groom them and to make them utilize at the same time. Because I think the last game when Elanga was playing, he lacked that experience to make those decisions, and you need such experience to just guide them to make proper decisions and right decisions at the right time.
It's important you mention that, because it's not just about what we're seeing on the pitch now. Sam, I'll bring you in on this one. It's the next crop of players that are coming up. So the next crop of players, young, talented players, are going to be looking at the situation. They're going to look at, right, where's City at and where's United at? United are being dragged down the table. They're going out of cup competitions now constantly. Haven't won anything in a while. Or you've got Man City who are winning titles consistently, going really far in the Champions League. Have players like, I think it's Cole Palmer, isn't it? You got Phil Foden coming in there, like proper young, talented players. So does that worry you for the future, Sam? Young players coming through that they're going to end up choosing City over United?
I mean, there's always going to be players who choose City over United. Like it's part of the thing, but there's also going to be players who are United fans or have always wanted to play for United. Like Barcelona has been through a really shit time, but there's still players who always want to play for Barcelona. Like it's always been very we've got, is it Charlie McNeil used to play for City's academy?
Yeah,
and he's come over and he makes every opportunity to stick it to City, doesn't he, and stuff like that, because he wanted to play for Man United. Jadon Sancho, same. Like, I'm sure he'd love to score an absolute screamer against City.
Well, he did, didn't he? In the derby, he scored a very nice goal. So,
like, I'm sure he enjoyed that because he's wanting to play for United most of his life, I think. So, yeah, there are players out there. The worry I have is the development side of things, because we've lost Shirayas, but the worry I have is the development, because obviously we've got a lot of talented youngsters like Garnacho, Charlie McNeil, James Garner, Teddy Mengi. Like, we've got a bunch of talented players, and if we don't develop them correctly, we could end up with another Axel Tuanzebe. There was so much hope for him. It's not gone right, has it? It's not
had loads of potential, I would say. Loads of potential line. I still remember that game we had against PSG in the Champions League, and he pocketed Mbappe as well as Neymar. And since that game, he just vanished off the scene. So development is always been.
Marcus Rashford was absolutely tearing up trees, and now he just seems a shadow of his former self. The development talent has to be the key. So you need to get the right coaching in, the right youth development, all that sort of stuff. That needs to be the key. So even if in stature and trophies we're not there, if we're getting the young players we are getting, if we're developing them right, and we can prove to like other young players, like, look, you might be winning way more trophies, or it might be shinier over at the blue side, but we'll make sure you become better players and better talents and have more skills and more opportunities than if you went to City. Because let's face it, City don't blood a lot of youngsters, did they? Like,
they're not notoriously known for it, but they are starting to now. Like,
they're starting to now, but it's like one or two in it. It's like Foden and Palmer. That's about it, really. Whereas United, we have this rich history of like every team we've had academy products in it. It's famous for it. Like, we've done it all the time. So I think we need to lean into that and be like, we're here to develop next generation of talent. If you come to us, we'll make you way better players.
Yeah.
If you want to just win trophies and earn a shit ton of money, then go to City, but we'll make you better players.
Yeah, what I'm excited about is James Garner under Ten Hag. I think when James Garner comes in the summer in pre-season and he has a look at, and Ten Hag has a look at him, it's going to be like, you know what, I could probably bring him into the team now, with the options that you got. Like, say he brings in a Tchouaméni and someone else, like, he can still blossom on the side, because Freddie McTominay needs to be squad players anyway. So for me, that's an exciting prospect. He might even start under Ten Hag, because Ten Hag is known to start really young players and put the trust in him. Because one thing that a journalist said in Holland, Netherlands, whatever, he said that he pays very close attention to like detail in the youth setup. So he will go into that, if like under 16s, whatever it is, he will sit with him and speak to the guys, get a profile of the players, and watch them like in very close detail. So that's one thing I'm excited about with Ten Hag coming in. Definitely. Sticking on that position, obviously CDM, we've got a player, Nemanja Matic, who's told the club he's probably leaving at the end of the season. Probably a year too late for me, but the right move in it, Shreyas, for him to go now.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was time for him to leave to a much slower league, because the physicality and the regularity and consistency that I think the Premier League demands, there is no other league in the world that demands as much. Plus, I think Matic did show glimpses, but he just showed us that for 30 minutes, he could still be that guy for us. But after the 30-minute mark, his legs he vanishes off the pitch. So I think, it was a year too late, but glad that it has finally happened, and we didn't end up extending him for another year. And like you mentioned with James Garner, I think he's one of the biggest prospects that we have at the club in the youth setup for the next couple of years, I would say. So I think replacing Matic with an academy product and not really going out for like a big name like a Declan Rice, I think that's much smarter, because then that would actually boost the club internally and the youth players internally as well, that this manager that has come in, he just doesn't look at those big names. He basically just looks at who is more hungry, who is more adaptable and more versatile enough to change their own game style, and is able to take constructive criticism, because we've seen that most of our players just get pissed off when they are offered some. And I think that's a big upside to things, we would say, because we've got loads of players going out, and replacing them with most of them with youth academy players, I think is a really, really good call. So, and I think I'm really excited to see how he's going to be using Mabry as well, because Mabry has been that name that has been around for quite a while. He's been training with the first team as well under Oli when we were in the Europa League and made it to the finals. So it's going to be really exciting as to how the youth things shape up. But yeah, I think Matic, he definitely needed to leave. Because he was just taking up more wages. He was just taking up that place on the bench, and he wasn't really able to offer us that performance that we still need, because Fred isn't up to that level. McTominay, we wanted him to go up to that level, but he definitely can't. And Matic, he still has the vision, but his body is just not capable of doing those things now. I think we just signed him up when he was actually in his prime. He gave us 2 to 3 good years. But I think now it's time for him to leave. I think he has done his part for the club, and he needs to move on probably to Syria and end up his career over there.
Absolutely, it's a year too late for me. Dan, do you reckon he could still do a job in some like the Italian league or Spanish league if he was to move out there?
I think he would be best suited for Syria A. So I think in Italy league it's a bit slow. So I think he'll be fit there. But personally, I also think that maybe contrary to the points were made. So I also believe that it's good. It was good that he was here till 1 year. I know that he has not been involved in the game many games, but at the same time, I think his extension was only for tomorrow's game, because tomorrow we don't have anyone to play. So I think at least that's one of the good points why he's still here. But at the same time, I think that he should have been used a bit more, because he is the only one CDM that we have. I think at least for last year also he could have been used in a better way, because in pre-season games when he and Donny were playing, so they were both good. I think still he was not used properly. Maybe you can. We have always talked about this, that you can maybe give him a time for maybe a 60 minutes, maybe in one game in one game in a 3 games row, and he can maybe play him for 60 minutes and then bring him out and bring in maybe McTominay and Fred, rather than using McTominay as a central defensive midfielder when he's not a proper CDM, and you're trying to just shoehorn a player when you have a proper player of that stature. So we always talk about building a team around Ronaldo or big players. So we can also build our midfield around Matic and play maybe someone else like Fred on alongside him, or if Donny would have been then, he could have been of great use, and that combo would have helped us and to build a better team. but but I'm also happy that he's leaving in this summer, because if he could, he also was a roadblock for us for bringing in a new CDM in our team, because always we thought that one CDM is already there. So I think it's good for him to move. I think we'll may get at least 5 million if I'm being too.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe, yeah.
I think he's leaving on a free because his contract is up.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that changes everything then.
So I thought he still has 1 year left. Okay.
No, let me double check that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You've gone with a slightly different take there on Matic, and I like it. Sam, on because Dan mentioned the game, then the game tomorrow. We've obviously got Matic, Pogba, and Bruno most likely to play because our other midfielders are out. Does that worry you at all in terms of legs in midfield?
To be honest, I'm beyond caring. I don't care anymore. Like, I don't. What is it to play for? We've got nothing to play for. Like, top four's gone. Our players are putting in zero effort. We're against Norwich and we're probably going to get beaten, I think. I would just literally just just get everybody from the under 21s and just call them up and just play them. That's what I would do. Like, when you see that the thumbnail graphic later, you'll see what my opinions are, because I've just put some stuff on there, but you'll see. Yeah, my opinion is just play the youth, because I don't care about this team at this point. I don't care about these players. So Matic, Pogba, they can all leave. I'm done. Bring in Tchouaméni, bring in Neves, bring Ghana back, Donny. That's I want to see. I don't want to see any of these players who are not giving a shit for this club or giving any effort for this club again. I'm over it.
Just need a fresh change in it now. It's got to a point where it's just despair and just everyone they cannot be arsed with it. This is why we did Real Red Talk Rehab the other day. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's an absolute banger. A lot of funny moments, a lot of detailed analysis and stuff. So yeah, very good video. Just moving back to Matic, because we mentioned his contract before. So he signed a 3-year contract with United in 2021. So he's actually got 2 years left. Yeah, he'll have 2 years left on his contract. That's what it says here. So yeah, it will probably get, I don't know, 5 million for him, like Dan said. Probably. I think Mourinho may take him at Roma or something like that.
Yeah, he actually wanted him earlier as well when he went there.
Because I know he was after a left-footed DM, and that's why he was linked with Xhaka from Arsenal. So if you can't get him, and he'll probably stay with Arsenal to get Champions League football. Fingers crossed he don't. But if you can't get him, then he'll probably go in for Matic.
Well, Arsenal are doing an Arsenal right now, aren't they? So they're choking like they do every single season, which is nice to see.
I have to say,
the biggest opponent is themselves.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't want Tottenham or Arsenal to get top 4, but if someone's going to get it, I'd rather Spurs get it than Arsenal.
I'd rather Tottenham every day of the week.
Yeah.
It's like they purposely are keeping our hopes alive.
Yeah. And you can bank on Spurs for that as well.
Yeah.
Looking towards the game tomorrow, lads, we're playing Norwich at Old Trafford. The last time we played them, we won 1-0 in a scruffy game where Norwich had quite a few decent chances, I'd say. But Ronaldo scored the penalty that won the game, so we ultimately ended up winning. Some history for years, head-to-head since the Premier League began. We've played them 19 times, won 15, drawn 1 and lost 3. So in that aspect, it looks quite good going into this. I'd say a lot has changed since the last time we played them, but it really hasn't. If anything, it's got worse at the minute. The run of form that we're in, we've got 1 win in 5. We got beat by Everton, drew with Leicester, beat by Atletico. We beat Spurs, but then got slapped off City. So our form at the minute is dire, absolutely dire. It's like Everton's form, 1 in 5 before we played them. And we all know what we were saying before that game, don't we? We're going to beat them and stuff. So yeah, you never know with these players. In terms of players available for selection, Cavani's out.
Shocking.
Is anyone surprised? I know, I can't believe it. Varane's out. Luke Shaw's out till the end of the season, I believe. Fred's out. McTominay's out. So no McFred, no Varane. I think we all expected Cavani, as I said, then to be out, didn't we? He's probably his toes a little bit sore, so he can't play tomorrow.
Woke up with a slight headache.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Sam, with that being said, do you expect more of the same tomorrow, or will we finally get a decent performance? I think I know the answer to this question, but I have to ask.
It's going to be the same, like what we've seen for the last, I don't know how many games. Like this season just seems like it's going on forever, doesn't it? Like it just doesn't seem like it's going to ever end. Yeah, I don't see us doing anything spectacular tomorrow. If we do win, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fun. And we're going to be bored out of our lives watching it. I feel sorry for Adam coming over to watch this shite. I really do. Like, I can't believe he's come over and he has to go watch this tomorrow because I would have done it.
I actually think we're going to win comfortably. I think we're going to win 3-0.
You're more positive than I am then.
Yeah, I'm going to throw an early prediction out of there. But
yeah. I would use this as an opportunity to play youth players, just like play like 7 or 8 youth players.
He's not going to though, innit?
No, he's not. He won't.
He won't. A chance to get Champions League.
Like he won't do it, but like that's what I would do, and then just like keep Bruno, Sancho, Ronaldo in, and De Gea, and then everybody else. I'd just like switch around and put in youth players, but he's not going to do it. But yeah.
Shreyas, 2 questions for you. The team is Norwich are literally the worst team in the league. Do you see them getting anything from this? And is there a player on Norwich's team who you're a fan of?
I mean, I think that they could do a lot to us at the moment. I mean, our squad is, I think this squad is able to break any record it wants, just not the way any United fan intends them to break one, but they do. I mean, we go in like every other fixture. We mentioned Everton, we mentioned Burnley, and we just go after it. Oh, we have beaten them like 20 times and they've just won 3. But, we deep down in our hearts, we know that anyone can give us a headache when they want. And even in that team, when we played them earlier on, I think Pookie looked well, missed a few good chances in that game. And they've got Brandon Williams as well. So
can he play, by the way? I don't know if he can play or not because he's on loan.
I think he's on loan.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Hope not that. But I think they've not really any big name. I think we expected them to be this way this season. We never really expect much from Norwich anyway. But the way that we are performing right now, they could do us some damage, because earlier on it just used to be that for the first 40 to 45 minutes we are looking good and then we are dropping off. But now it's a situation where for the full 90 we are just grinding it out. So if they are able to pressure us or retain the ball, I guess even for the first 15 to 20 minutes, I think we could easily leak in an early goal as well. It's not going to be a surprise. And is the game at Old Trafford?
Yeah.
So it makes much more sense that we lose. So
by the way, I'm loving all this positivity from you lot. Absolutely love it.
I mean,
it's a reality
now that
where we're at.
Yeah. I mean, usually when
you've watched the games this season, right, Nick?
Yeah. But like,
okay.
So someone's got to keep hope. You know what I mean? So even if it is a sinking ship, someo's got to be the positive guy.
You're that guy on the Titanic playing the violin as it's just going down.
You know it. You know the guy. Yeah. I'll play that violin until the end of the season, and I'm fucking chucking it in the ocean. Continue, Trey. I'm sorry.
I mean, when the season started, it usually used to be me, Sam, Adam, or Dan who used to be like positive that we're still going to be able to go for a win. And Nick used to come in and say, you never know. And now it's a situation where us 4 are like, we could just lose to an Everton 1-0, or we could just draw it. And Nick saying that, I think we could win comfortably 3-0. So
I've made
the way United has changed personalities altogether as well this season.
Yeah.
I think if Nick carried on the way he was going at the beginning of the season, I don't think he'd be here with us. I think he would have just offed himself because I don't think he would have survived this season if he carried on the way he was starting, because it's just gotten worse, hasn't it?
I'd love to.
Dr. Saint would have a lot to do.
I'd love to see a highlight clip of all our predictions from like near the start of the season to like now, and just see how positive we are.
Do you remember that? Do you remember the streak Dan was on, just getting it all right, like every week, and then it just went like that, didn't it?
Then they went, you know what? Fuck your streaks. Yeah, we're gonna fuck everything up, mate. Yeah. Craziness. Dan, we know how bad the problems are at Manchester United. If you're the manager going into that dressing room, what's the first thing? So let's say you're now Ten Hag, Mr. Raj. You've walked in a dressing room. What's the first thing you're addressing?
Yeah, if I go inside and the dressing room, I would say that to every guy that you have to leave your egos in the dressing room and go out and play the game as if you're playing your last game for the team, and this is your last game, and you have to show everything on the pitch. So because we have seen that there are too many egos, and these egos are it's somehow is affecting the style of play, and it's that ego is coming into the pitch, and I would say them like just forget about everything, just go on the pitch and just showcase as if it is your last opportunity to save your lives.
So would you drop big personalities in that? So you drop a Maguire and a Rashford, because they're the ones who seem to be them kind of players, you know what I mean? Like Rashford seems, for me, in his head thinks he's better than what he is, like he doesn't have to try. That's how it seems to me.
I think what Dan meant to say was go up to about 10 players and go, here's your P45, fuck off.
Yeah, well, stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Something's going to be dropped on Real Reds, you'll see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan, what is that what you mean? Like there's certain individual players, if they were still bringing the egos and they were saying, no, well, you're not doing it for me, you're not doing, they're all about themselves, would you kind of just walk in and be like, right, well, you're not going to play, I'll play a young player and bring them up?
Yeah, definitely, because we have always seen that how Maguire is on the pitch, and any case, Maguire won't be in my starting 11, starting lineup, and we have seen also with the Ronaldo, if his attitude is like this, what we have seen in the last few games, if his attitude continues, then definitely I'll drop him and maybe bring in a youth player like Garnacho if he's there. So yeah, you sometimes you have to take those tough decisions and show the senior players and those players with high egos that that they have to be an example. Otherwise, we have other options and the youth players and coming up. So yeah, definitely I'll go and make those changes and make them sit and get used to the bench.
I don't see how it could get any worse. Like, how would it be worse if we just went, right, you lot, not doing it, fuck off, sit on the bench. All these Garnacho, McNeil, it's your have a go. Because how can it get worse? Like, it's not going to get worse.
Only one thing I'd say is it's a very toxic environment to bring a young player into now. Like, they would get pelters off the fans. I don't necessarily think.
I don't think they would. I think the fans would be behind them. I think the fans would be like, these guys want to play for United. They're playing a new system, and they'd give them an opportunity if they won or lost, because we've been shit all season. So I think the fans would be right behind them, whether they won or lost. I think they'd be all right with it.
Maybe you'll probably see more of that towards the end of the season, won't you? I imagine, like when we know top four's kind of like, obviously we all think it's gone anyway, but when it gets like more towards the end of 5 games after whatever, and it's like that, I think they
mathematically impossible.
Yeah, we've seen that last season with Hannibal and Ahmad and stuff like that playing against Wolves. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Looking at Norwich in terms of the opposition's form, the last 5 results: Norwich beat Burnley 2-0, they drew with Brighton 0-0. Got beat off Leeds 2-1, beat off Chelsea 3-1, and beat off Brentford 3-1. So they're pretty much in the same form as us, to be honest. We are in, as Sam said, relegation form. So Norwich, they've won 1, drew 1, and lost 3. However, the past 2 games, they've had decent results for their standards. They do leak goals defensively and don't really have any major threats unless Pukki is in form, which coming up against United, he probably will be.
Watch him score a hat-trick tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can click that up if you want. Hanley, the centre-back, is decent for them. Me and Adam compared his and Maguire's stats last night on Statman, and his stats were better than Maguire's. They were legit better than Maguire's. In like the main stats you want for a centre-back, his were above him. There was like one that Maguire had better. So that shows you the form that Maguire's been in. They've also got players like Aaron, what's his name at right back?
Max Aarons.
Yeah, they've got Max Aarons, who's a decent right back, and then they've got Brandon Williams on loan, who's done okay for them as well, but I don't think he'll be able to play. Shreyas, in terms of the game tomorrow, where do you think we can exploit him? Like our left side against Everton was our strongest side, I'd say, with Telles and Sancho. So do you think that's be another area where we can attack tomorrow?
I mean, yeah, I think it could, but if it could only happen if Telles is given the license to move forward, because you never know that with the way these players we have, they would rather want to play with a 4-2-3-1, which is much more conservative and much more in the back line, so that the fullbacks actually get tucked in. So I think if Telles and Sancho are able to move around and given much more of a free role, I think we can actually do a lot of damage from the left side, because quite frankly, it's the only side that we have managed to actually score from. And except that, I would say in the midfield could be an area, because the midfield is not. I think the moment you press that midfield, it breaks apart. So midfield.
Shreyas, can I just say we said this about Everton as well, by the way.
Yeah, but
just saying.
Fred and McTominay are out, and we've got Matic for the whole 90. So at least for 40 minutes, I'd still expect that we could break them apart in the midfield.
We've also got Pogba, who doesn't give a toss. Like, just doesn't give a toss.
Never know.
He's still got the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
look, when his amazing line breaking passes. You remember his distribution? Yeah. You remember that?
I mean, he can just throw the ball out into the opposition net from his own.
Yeah. Just
area,
give that possession. It's fucking fine, isn't it?
Shreyas, don't let Sam drag you down into this negative United.
And did you see Rio Red's rehab? I had to take pills out of his hands. He was on the edge.
It clearly works because we're being more positive now, so we're taking the medication.
Yeah,
speak for yourself. Yeah, speak for yourself.
Yeah, Sam, I don't want to ask this question.
Ask it.
If we win tomorrow, is top 4 nailed on?
Is that a joke or is that a real question? Is it a real question?
Is top 4 back on if we beat Norwich?
No.
Okay. Let me have a look at the point. I can't remember where we are. We're 7th, aren't we?
Seventh.
I think
Spurs are getting top 4, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got a 6-point advantage.
Yeah.
Go on, Dan.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Yeah, if we win tomorrow, we will be level with points with Arsenal. But Tottenham is still 6 points ahead of us now.
Yeah. Tottenham are getting top 4. Like, that's
that'd be with a game in hand as well, innit? If we win, we'll be on 54. Yeah. They'll be 3 points ahead with a game in hand as well.
Yeah.
So
they've got a match against Chelsea as well. So
Tottenham have. Oh no, Arsenal aren't there? Yeah. Arsenal play.
We also have Chelsea.
We got to play Arsenal. We got to play Arsenal as well, haven't we?
And we've got Liverpool as well before Arsenal. So let's just move back.
Okay. You know what? We should just pretend, like when the Liverpool games comes around, just pretend we're not doing any content. Just like pretend this channel doesn't exist. And then wait for that, and then afterwards, then we'll come back and be like, "Oh, did a game happen? Sorry, like missed it."
Just cut the internet off for the whole day.
Right, so we'll move on from that question then. So top 4, no one thinks we're going to get it at all. I wonder what the odds are on it. We'll see. Dan, for the game tomorrow, we've been speaking about the youth coming up quite a lot throughout this preview. Is there any young players you would throw into the mix tomorrow? It's at Norwich. You against a team that's bottom of the league and it's at Old Trafford. Would you throw anyone in like a Hannibal or McNeil or anyone like that?
Yeah, I think we can throw in Mabry instead of Pogba there, or because he's the only midfielder available. I think other players like Shortere and other, just you mentioned, they are all like.
Sorry, it sounds like you said Shorty. You know, like in America, you go like you've got a short. I'm
having tough time spelling those youth players.
Yeah, you know how to call him Shorty if you want. I don't mind. That's a new nickname for him. Shorty
I like how Nick's mocking pronunciations, by the way.
Yeah. And my first language is supposed to be English. My English is probably worse than you guys. So yeah, it's true. Sorry, Dan.
So I think we can put in Mabry there, and if I would have been given an option, I would have bring back Garner today itself and just cancel the loan and bring him back and play him tomorrow.
They've probably asked him and he's gone, fuck no, I'm not going back to this shit. Not playing in this team.
Yeah, I'll stay at Nottingham Forest, mate. Don't worry about it. Fuck that.
I'm having fun here. Actually, I enjoy my football.
Young players, if you listen, I wouldn't blame you at all. Shreyas, Ralph got asked today what is one of the main reasons United have struggled this season, and he said sustainability. We have patches in games where we're really good. I think he mentioned the Villa game, Spurs, Leeds, and there was another one, can't remember off the top of my head, where we've visually seen us play really well. But the last Crystal Palace, the first half Crystal Palace as well. There were just examples he was setting, but we haven't shown anything at all lately. Like you were saying before, like now we're kind of waiting. Like we had like 45 minutes of play where it was like, yeah, look good, look decent. And then we had 20 minutes of spells where it was like, oh, we could get a goal there. And now it's like not even a 5-minute patch where you're like, oh, we could get something there.
Yeah, I think he's bang on saying that there's an issue with sustainability throughout the match because there's no consistency with most of our big name players, you would say, like Maguire, inconsistent, Pogba, inconsistent. Bruno has still been able to be creative, but hasn't really been able to get any assist or goals lately. And same goes with Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo hasn't really been consistent that much either. I think except for that one-off Tottenham game, I think most of his game has been a graveyard shift, but still, it's been hard for him as well. And Jadon Sancho has been consistent, but he has struggled a bit as well in the last couple of games, I would say. So I think consistency with most of our players, I would say, in that locker room has been a big issue. And I think Ragnick has summed it up pretty well. I think him being honest about it is much better rather than sugarcoating things for us and the fans still being in the dark about certain things.
Yeah, I think we've lost Nick. I think he's going to rejoin.
Oh yeah,
so,
we have definitely lost him.
Yeah, I think he's given up on the situation. What we'll do then, my Nick's away. We'll go into, because I don't know what his questions he was going to ask, so we'll go into like team lineup predictions and stuff like that. So we'll do that. I'll do mine first. So as much as I want him to play the youth, I wish he would, but I don't think he's going to do that. I'll go with De Gea, Maguire, Lindelof, Telles, and I hope he plays Dalot, but I wouldn't be surprised if he plays Wan-Bissaka, but I hope he plays Dalot. And then obviously our midfield options are quite sort of limited. So it's going to be Pogba, Matic and Bruno, isn't it? I think. And then I could see Elanga getting a start. Elanga, Sancho, Ronaldo, that'll probably be our front line. Yeah, I'll go with that. Nick, I don't know if you had any more questions. So I just sort of vamped it and just said that went with team lineups and stuff like that. But I don't know if you had any more questions.
No, it's fine. Zoom clearly had enough of me and thought he's talking shit. Kick him off. Don't know what happened there. But yeah, if you were going into predicted 11s, then yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I've just done mine. So whoever wants to go next.
Yeah, Shreyas, you want to go for it?
Yeah, I think De Gea, given the Player of the Year award, I would say for us, because he's the only reason that we are still at least relevant in that top 10 position. At least we're still there because of him. So De Gea is a no-brainer. Except that, I really hope Dalot comes back in because we've seen enough of Wan-Bissaka already, not up to the standards. So bring in Dalot. We've got no other options but to play Maguire and Lindelof. We've basically got no one else who would play. We've got Bailly, but we all know that he isn't going to start for us. So, and Telles is going to be starting in as well. Hopefully, he is able to build up on his last few performances where he has shown glimpses of some really good partnership with Sancho. So that could be something to watch out for. And except that, I think Matic is going to start. Bruno is going to be starting in as well, and same goes for Pogba. Actually, I wouldn't even mind if he put in Mata in, because at least you would see someone who actually cares for the club, because even though he's come on for like two times or just a single time, but he's actually shown a little desire and passion for us. So wouldn't mind if he
I'm just thinking with Matic and Mata in midfield, you're better off getting Ethel and Gordon from the old people's home.
Are they allowed to play with Zimmer frames while they're on the pitch? Because they just bloody need them. Have the medical staff wait with a wheelchair on the sidelines for after the fucking game.
Yeah. Would still be really fun to watch.
Yeah, and some WD-40 for the legs as well to make sure that they're not.
And you will see the medical staff names on the bench lineup.
Yeah. There's about 100 doctors on the side waiting for Matic and Mata to come off.
Every time there's a break in play, they're running over to the sideline. Instead of getting the water and stuff, they've got an oxygen tank. Okay.
Right. Or maybe just give them that for the full game. Just have an oxygen tank
just put it on the back.
You never know. They might be just running along with an IV drip in their hand. Along with that. So
I don't see any rules where it says you can't have an IV drip in the game or an oxygen tank. No. So continue your team, Shreyas.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we're going to be seeing Pogba start alongside Bruno and Matic. That's going to be the midfield. And when it comes to the attack, I think this Sancho is definitely going to be there. And well, when it comes to the right hand flank, Rashford or Elanga, I mean, it's.
I was just thinking of Shorty.
That was a slow burn joke, that wasn't it? Like that, he said that about 10 minutes ago, and it's
just
only
come back. You know what I'm like? I'm sorry. It's just getting back into my head. Then fucking hell. Oh, right. So we're going with who was the front three, Shreya? Sorry.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Elanga, Sancho, and well, Ronaldo. I think that's the only way we can go about, because Lingard doesn't even care about the club, and Rashford, he's just
no one else is
off.
there.
I mean,
we've got
no
one else.
Well, you could be picked. Like we've literally got no one.
That's pretty much our whole squad at the moment. Yeah. That's just pretty much our whole squad at the moment. We have got absolutely no one.
It feels like the start of the season we had a brick wall and every brick was kind of in place. Now we've got like pens holding up certain bricks and it's just gaps everywhere.
Yeah, because actually when the season started, all we could actually take out from the squad and say that the position that we need to fill in is a central defensive midfielder, and other than that we have made the investments and we're pretty much sorted. But now we've got to get a centre back, we've got to get a CDM, we have to get a winger as well, we've got to get a striker as well. So
get Dan. Bobby's laughing his head off. He's had enough.
You know it's been a bad season when Dan's breaking. If Dan's breaking, it's like it's been a bad season.
Dan, are we expecting to see?
Dan's lost it.
We expect to see Shorty in the lineup.
Shorty. Am I the only professional left in this? Everybody else is broken. The season's finished for us.
Predicted 11, Dan.
Yeah, almost similar to what Shreyas has mentioned there. I think maybe instead of Elanga, Rashford will play. But personally, at this moment of the season, when we know that we are not going to qualify for the Champions League, I will give players like Bailly and Henderson chance to lift up their price tag. So that we know that Henderson will be going out and Bailly will be going out maximum. And these players at this moment they'll be their price tag is very low. But when you give them chance, maybe in the last 4-5 games, and just raise their value, and that will be beneficial for us in the transfer market as well.
Yeah. Did you say? You didn't say Shorty. I was waiting for it. Shorty's not in the lineup.
Immediate timing. Rubbish.
But I can imagine a lot of these players putting in before. You might see like the last 5 games, you're putting in cameos. Like, who the fuck is that? And because they know they're going on, they know the clubs are going to come in for him. That could be the case. But with my starting 11, very quickly, I'll go through it. De Gea, Dalot, Lindelof, Maguire. Because no one else. Telles, Bruno, Matic, Mabry. I'm going to throw in there just as like a random shout. Elanga, Ronaldo, and Sancho.
Shorty.
He'll be on the bench.
Shorty on the bench.
We'll bring him on as a super sub in the last 5 minutes. So he'll get a goal. Is that everyone's done the lineups now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Just because I missed your bit. Yeah. Right. Perfect. So we've got score predictions to get into. Now, this is where it gets slightly depressing, so we should maybe put a disclaimer before this, saying if you feel a certain way after it, then.
Nick, you're being positive, so why don't you give us your positive one first?
Okay, I'll go with 3-0.
Jesus Christ.
To United or Norwich?
To United.
Good choice. Good point.
Yeah. Especially if Shorty's on the bench. I think we're going to win 3-0.
Shorty hat-trick.
Yeah, Shorty hat-trick. And we'll expect a little bit of a shoulder roll for a celebration. We'll see what happens. Bit of a D'Lo Brown. We'll see.
That's it.
Yeah. Score predictions, lads. Oh God.
The wheels have come off this show, haven't they?
If you don't laugh, you cry. That's what I'm going with. Shreyas.
2-1 to Norwich.
Oh God. No, come on. Sam.
I can't handle it now.
1-0 Norwich.
Dan, last hope, mate.
4-0 United.
Yeah, there we go. So we got a 3-0, a 4-0, a 2-1 to Norwich, and a 1-0 to Norwich. You pessimistic bastards.
Nick's clearly been watching this season with his eyes closed.
Yeah. No, well, we've got to stay positive, haven't we, Dan? We've got to stay positive.
We got beat off Everton,
guys.
I know. That's last week. That's last week. Don't worry about that.
And the week before, we watched the most boring game I've ever seen in my life against Leicester.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
And then Atletico.
Yeah, all right.
And Man City.
All right. Okay. Yeah, what about Spurs? We beat Spurs 3-2. No one expected that. Ronaldo hat-trick. Could have another Ronaldo masterclass. You know what I mean? You never know.
You really believe that?
Well, it is what it is, isn't it?
Sam and Shreyas, you have a short hair of faith.
Yes, we do. Very true, Dan. Very true.
Very quickly, goal scorers. Who do you think is going to score tomorrow? Whether it's for Norwich, you guys, or for us? Who do we think?
Pookie
as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Dan?
Sancho 2, Ronaldo 1, Bruno 1.
And Shorty. Don't forget Shorty.
Shorty's getting 2.
You went with 4-0, yeah? So they're the 4 players. I'm going to take that.
I hope they use Mabry and he scores for us, but I still expect them to score 2 and spoil it for us. I still think that we're going to lose out.
I hope you're wrong, but I don't blame you for making that prediction. So yeah, that is the preview finished. We got there in the end. Apologies for technical difficulties and stuff. So yeah, the match tomorrow is live from 3:00. Adam is actually at the game tomorrow. He's in Manchester currently with me and Sam are going to go meet him later. So fingers crossed we get a result for him, because that's going to be depressing if he's flying over to watch a game and we lose to the bottom of the table.
There'll be a surprise. There's going to be a surprise dropping on Sunday as well. So look out for that.
Absolutely. And yeah,
we're so close to 100 subscribers. Like we're on 95 subscribers. So we're like getting really, really close. So as soon as we get to 100, there's going to be a nice little competition for everybody. So help us get there and then you might win something. We've got loads of videos.
Giving back.
Yes, we've got loads of videos on the channel. Like we've got regular shows like Statman and Robin. Give that show some more love because it doesn't get enough views on the channel. We need to so go watch that show because that's really, really good, informative, good stuff. Like go watch that. If you've not watched it, Real Reds Rehab, fantastic show. I think that doctor is amazing. Whoever sorted you guys out, I don't know who he is, but he's really, really good.
I think the patients were much amazing. I think the patients were quite.
Exactly.
So
go watch that. And then we'll have the match day coverage tomorrow. We'll have the review tomorrow. And then we've got Liverpool next week. Is it next week?
Yeah, I think so. It's close anyway.
Yes.
Very close. I don't think about that. No. We're not ending on that. Don't think about the Liverpool game. We've got Norwich tomorrow, bottom of the table, and we're going to win. Okay, we're going to win.
Hopefully United don't ruin our bank holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Just imagine we build up on this performance on our way to Liverpool and we actually lose tomorrow.
Yeah. Wow. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. The pessimistic thoughts. I don't want to hear any of that. It's positivity going in tomorrow. We're going to win.
Nick's living in denial.
No, we're going to win. I promise you. Thank you, lads, for joining me. As always, I appreciate your time and thoughts.
Follow the Instagram. Follow the Twitter, follow the TikTok, Facebook, everything. You see all that up there, all of it there. Yeah. Go follow all that stuff.
Just type in Real Reds Talk on any socials and you'll find us. Yeah, thanks, lads, for joining me. Me and Sam are going to head off for a few whiskies and some nice food later. So, lads, enjoy your weekend. No doubt we'll be speaking to you tomorrow about the game after we win and Shorty bags a hat-trick. So, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you for joining us and thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Cheers.